Epigenetic is important and epigenetic play important role for the gain of the fat. So important thing is that first of all we will understand about the genetic and then we will understand about the epigenetic. Genetic is your DNA which that express the gene, and in this way your whole DNA contains gene, but some gene is silent and some gene activate. The silent gene and the activated gene, the whole collectively is known as the genetic. But the epigenetic means the gene silence on the basis of the environmental influence or expressed due to the external environmental influence. For example, whenever you will go into the gym, so in this way, those certain type of gene which that is important for the growth and strength of the muscle will activate. But before that going to the exercise, that gene which that is very important for the growth of the muscle was silent, and in this way that basically silent gene will activate. In this way, whenever you will gain the fat is known as the obesity. Obesity is the epigenetic. How? Because whenever you will basically not work out, so that gene will be silent and remain silent. But important thing is that whenever you will intake too much sugar, so your gene will activate, and that gene acetylation rather than the methylation, or methylation rather than the acetylation. In this way, the methyl group will lead to activate or basically silent the gene or activate through acetyl group. For example, some inhibitor gene which that inhibit the certain type of enzyme which that is important for the fat gain, the storage of the fat, and the glucose will convert into the fat into the adipose tissue, and that enzyme required for the activate, and in this way that gene will be silent, and whenever this gene will be silent, in this way basically that is the methylation addition will lead to silent that gene, because that gene is inhibitor of the enzyme which that progress the production of fat. So remember that thing, and in this way the inhibitor gene will be inhibited due to the methyl group addition. So in this way, for short, to understand your obesity is the epigenetic, even remember that thing, because whenever you will intake more food, so your gene will activate to store that food like glucose convert into the fat in the adipose tissue, and that gene is important, play important role for the deposition of fat. Whenever you will go into the gym and exercise, fasting and ketogenic diet and healthy diet, low calorie or calorie restriction diet, which that will lead to activate the certain gene which that is important for the muscle growth, for the bone growth and the hair growth, skin glowing, and a lot more gene will be activated, and in this way your body will basically become a healthy, and in this way the certain type of the epigenetic mutation which that will lead to grow your muscle, and you will become a more muscular, you will look like a more muscular. So in this way, remember about that, the fat gaining process will reverse and the inactivate the certain type of gene which that activate due to the exercise, fasting, and that gene basically will lead to activate and will lead to cause lipolysis. But in this case, whenever you will not do these three things like the fat, fat containing ketogenic diet or exercise and fasting, these three things will activate the fat burning enzyme in your body like beta oxidation, and the liver which that convert this fat into the ketones. That gene is very important, and activate is known as the epigenetic. Epigenetic means the environmental factors in the environment factors like which that change the genetics. Basically it is above of the genetic. It means without the change of the gene, without the mutation of the DNA, the gene will be silent or dominant and express. I hope it makes sense about that. If you like my video, please make sure to subscribe, like and share. In this video, we have discussed about the epigenetic play important role for the gain of the fat or gain of the muscle and bones. See you in the next video. For this time, bye. Allah.